The cave breathes. It has two lungs, two distinct rhythms of life. The first is the slow, smoky exhalation of the clan's fire, a steady pulse of warmth and light that pushes back against the eternal damp. The second, deeper in the mountain's gut, is the sound of a million tiny heartbeats, a dry, rustling, chittering sigh that is the collective breath of the colony. This is a precarious form of symbiosis, a covenant of shared stone written in fear and necessity, for the clan of Homo habilis who live in the mouth of this great cave. It is the only home they have ever known. Their world is one of light and shadow. The light is where they live a grand, sun-drenched antechamber where they butcher scavenged carcasses, nap their simple older and choppers, and raise their young. The shadow is the boundary. They lie, unseen but absolute, beyond which the cave floor plunges into a darkness that their fire cannot penetrate. That is the domain of the others, the blood wings, the Desmodus draculae, giant vampire bats, with wingspans as wide as a man is tall. The clan does not worship them, but they respect them with a primal, gut-deep terror. They know the bats are in the dark, and in exchange for this undisputed territory, the clan is granted the ultimate prize shelter, a fortress against the predators of the open plains. The floor of the cave is a textbook of taxonomy, a litter of bones, some cracked by hominid tools for their marrow, others dropped from the ceiling, picked clean and discarded by the bats, tells the story of this shared existence. It is a chronicle of life and death stretching back into a past these early humans cannot measure. This is the delicate balance of their lives, a key chapter in the long story of our human ancestors learning to survive not just in the world, but with it. Isha works near the fire, her strong, capable hands gripping a heavy stone. She is using it to smash the femur of a small antelope, the prize from a morning spent chasing vultures from a leopard's kill. Beside her, her son, Noelu, plays with a smooth, dark river stone. He is small, his limbs still soft with youth, but his eyes are old with a dangerous curiosity. He is endlessly fascinated by the boundary, by the cool air that breathes from the darkness, and by the rustling whispers that promise a world unseen. Isha often has to pull him back from that line, her sharp grunt a reminder of the one law that matters in this cave. The bone cracks. Isha's focus is absolute as she digs with her fingers for the rich, fatty marrow, a life-giving burst of energy for her and her child. It is a task that requires her full attention. For a moment, the world shrinks to the splintered bone in her hands. The moment is a long one. When she looks up, satisfied, a small measure of life secured. The space beside her is empty. A cold dread, faster and sharper than any predator, seizes her. Her eyes scan the chamber. The other members of the clan are focused on their own tasks. No one saw. Her gaze is drawn, inevitably, to the line, to the great, yawning mouth of the darkness. And there, lying just over the invisible threshold, is a single, smooth, dark river stone. Whoever is gone. The covenant has been broken. The emotional turning point is not a scream, but a sudden, gut-wrenching silence that falls over Isha's world. The heart of the clan has just wandered into the heart of the darkness. There is no debate. There is no counsel. Isha's loss is a wound in the body of the clan, and their response is as swift and instinctual as a flinch from fire. Her sharp, guttural cry of Olo's name echoes through the chamber, a sound that cuts through the daily rhythm of their lives. Kale, a young, powerful male, grabs a heavy femur bone. His immediate impulse a futile gesture of brute force against an enemy that is a living cloud. But Ren, an old toolmaker whose hands are maps of 1,000 finished stones, stops him with a look. He knows the dark. He knows a single club against 1,000,000 wings is suicide. Isha is already moving. Her maternal instinct has overridden a lifetime of ingrained fear. She snatches a burning brand from the central fire, a desperate, hopeless weapon that sputters and casts wild shadows on the cave walls. This is the raw material of their intelligence, an impulse born of desperation. This is the moment where their nascent cognitive toolkit is tested, Ren sees her desperate and, in a flash of insight, refines it. He points a gnarled finger not at the fire, but at the damp, green moss growing near the cave entrance, and at the pile of wet leaves from a recent foraging trip. He makes a gesture of choking, of thick, billowing air, smoke. The idea spreads through the small group like the fire itself. White to see, smoke to blind. To create a moving pocket of unbreathable air that the bats will not penetrate. It is a brilliant, desperate piece of tactical problem solving. An act of pure resourcefulness. A plan is born in a flurry of gestures. They will not just carry torches. They will create a moving barrier of smoke. A second, smaller, fouler sun to carry into the underworld. This is not the work of Homo sapiens, but of their much earlier ancestors, Homo habilis, proving that the spark of ingenuity has been part of our lineage for a very long time. A hard choice is made without a word. Not everyone will go. A large party is a clumsy party. A small team, fast and silent, has the only chance. Isha won't go. There is no question. Her will is the heart of the mission. Kale, his strength now given a purpose, will be the shield. And Rin, his knowledge of fire and stone indispensable, will be the guide. The three of them become a single organism with a single purpose. The clan works together, their fear channeled into action. They find long, dry branches of acacia. They wrap the ends with strips of hide and smear them with rendered animal fat and sticky pine pitch. A form of primitive technology designed for one specific, terrifying purpose. They create smaller bundles of damp moss and leaves to be thrown onto the flames, generating the thick, acrid smoke they will need. Each finished torch is a prayer, a tool, a desperate gamble. The rest of the clan will remain at the boundary, keeping the main fire high, a beacon for a return that may never come, for them. This is the ultimate test of their communal bond, to risk 3 of their best for the life of one child. It is a calculation whose answer defines them. With torches lit, a moving constellation of 3 angry stars, the rescue party steps over the line. The change is immediate. The air grows cold, heavy with the ammonia-sharp stench of a million years of guano. The sound of the clown fades, replaced by the dry, leathery rustle of the colony. A sound that seems to come from all directions at once, and they see them. The torchlight does not reach the ceiling, but it catches the reflection of a million pairs of tiny, ruby-red eyes. The ceiling is alive. The smoke from their torches billows around them. A shell, comforting shield. It works. The bats nearest them shift and retreat from the noxious cloud. The party takes another step, then another, into the roaring, chittering dark. The chamber is a vaulted, living hell. The roar of a million wings is a physical pressure, a sound so immense it becomes a vibration in the bones. The air is thick with the coppery tang of old blood. This is the heart of the colony, a place no light has ever touched, and against the overwhelming roar, they hear it a thin, terrified whimper. Oh hello, he is on a high ledge, 20 feet up a sheer wall of guano-slick rock. Having crawled into a fissure and been unable to get back down, he is surrounded by the swirling, agitated mass of the colony. The rescue is an act of desperate geometry. Ren, the old toolmaker, directs their light and smoke, a conductor of a foul orchestra, keeping the immediate airspace around the ledge as clear as possible. Kale, his muscles bunched like roots, creates a platform of his own body, his hands locked, for Isha to climb. He is the anchor. She is the will. She scrambles up the last few feet, her fingers digging into the foul, crumbling wall. The bats, their sanctuary invaded, their young threatened by the strange, smoky light, are turning from agitated to aggressive. As Isha reaches the ledge and pulls her whimpering child to her,
last, they
the swarm
collapse on the
attacks.
grassy bank.
The smoke shield, their only defense, is breached by a wave of leathery wings. It is a storm of chittering fury and tiny, needle-sharp teeth. Kale roars, swatting with his club. but he is a single stone against an ocean. This is the moment where instinct transcends all else. This is an act of extreme kin selection. Isha does not try to fight. She curls her body around OLO, making herself a living shield. Her back, her arms, her head take the brunt of the attack. She feels 100 small, sharp bites, a tearing, scorching agony, but her only thought is the small, blood, trembling body pressed against her chest. It is a hard choice made without thought her pain for his survival. She screams, a sound of pure, defiant, maternal rage, and swings her own torch in a wild, fiery arc, creating a desperate, temporary halo of flame. Kale seizes his chance. He reaches up, grabs her by the leg, and pulls her and the child from the ledge. They tumble to the floor in a heap of limbs and failing torchlight. The retreat is a frantic, stumbling nightmare. The truce is not just broken. It is annihilated. The bats, now a single, enraged entity, pursue them. The dark is no longer a passive presence. It is an active, hunting thing. They run, guided by the dim, distant orange glow of the clan's fire. Their own torch is now little more than smoking embers. The sound of the pursuit is a roaring wave at their backs. They burst back into the light of the main chamber, collapsing into the arms of their kin. They are bleeding, exhausted, covered in filth, but they are alive. Isha holds ONO, who is miraculously unharmed, shielded by her own body. The clan surrounds them, a silent, wide-eyed circle. They see it has wounds. They hear the enraged chittering from the darkness, a sound that is no longer a sigh, but a declaration of war. Their home, their fortress, is now the lair of an enemy they have awakened. This moment of successful rescue is also a moment of profound failure. Their behavioral flexibility will be tested as never before. This single act of love has cost them their world, forcing a need for adaptation on a scale they cannot yet comprehend. A life lived for 1,000,000 years before humans learned to build their own shelters is over. The rescue of OLO was not a victory, it was a trade. The clan saved its future, embodied in a child, but sacrificed its past, embodied in the ancient, stable world of the cave. They were likely forced to leave, driven out into the open plains where the predators were larger but the darkness was less absolute. This event, lost to prehistory, is a perfect parable for our species' journey. The engine of our evolution has always been this frantic, protective love for our young. It is the instinct that drove us to challenge monsters, to brave the dark, and to make impossible choices. It forced us to become smarter, to innovate, to adapt not just to the environment, but to the consequences of our own actions. The first true tool was never a sharpened stone. It was the desperate, unbreakable bond between a parent and a child, a force powerful enough to lead a small band of hominids out of the safety of the cave and into a world they would one day conquer. Every law we write to protect the vulnerable, every sacrifice we make for our children, is an echo of Issa's choice in the roaring dark. This has been the chronicler. The first light was not the sun, but the fire carried for another. But what happens when the only shelter is the one you build with your own hands?